fundamentals of design, development and implementation. So when you start implementing your idea, before that, you need to... Hello and welcome to Building in Public, an AI-based app. And today we will discuss about the basic fundamentals of design, development and implementation. So when you start implementing your idea, before that, you need to figure out what the market wants, study the market, observe and talk to your target audience. When you figure out what is the niche market that you're going to serve, then try to observe their business operations or the way they are functioning, because when you're trying to implement something and you are unaware how they are operating, it is very difficult to come up with a solution that is acceptable in the market. Hence, give it enough time to pre-ideate. So if you're not aware what is pre-ideation, any app, any website or a software that you're trying to build for your target market, it is very important to pre-ideate. Go to the market, talk to them, see how they function. It might vary based on location, category and the type. So when I say location, something that works in the US market might not work in India, just because the business operations that function in the US market is not applicable in India. The business owners have a different mindset in India as compared to the business owners in US. So we can't exactly copy the business patterns that are followed in the outside world. Hence, we need to observe carefully and study well how the business functions in your specific city, area or country. And hence, when I started implementing the same services that I provide to the international clients, it does not work in India for a simple reason. In India, business owners are very conservative when it comes to delegating their business operations, and hence when I serve the international clients, they freely delegate it to you as a service provider and you can take care of their business operations. But when it comes to India, they have a traditional mindset, because they think when you delegate the business operations, it is kind of delegating the authority and they want to keep the authority to themselves. Hence, studying the market for any idea that comes to your mind is very important. So now when I'm in the ideation phase, I need to come up with a solution how to actually document or how to implement that idea. When it comes to designing and development, there are two ways or two approaches that you can follow. One is the Waterfall method and one is the Agile Methodology. If you're not aware about both of them, probably just go and study about it. But I'll give you a little bit brief or background on how Waterfall works and how Agile works. Both have its pros and cons, and I'm not supporting any one of them. Both can take you to failure and success as well. It depends on your implementation of the idea, on what you feel is more applicable to the solution that you are trying to bring to the table. So when it comes to Waterfall method, either you document everything right at the start of implementation phase, and once that documentation and planning is over, you can start building the design and development process. But in case of Agile, it is not the case. You keep documenting, implementing and coming back and reiterating that documentation, so that planning and execution is happening on a constant basis.
Let's take a look now at the differences between Agile and traditional way of working, also called Waterfall. Several years ago, projects were managed in Waterfall, where tasks are executed in phases, in a linear and sequential way. Progress flows downwards in one direction like a waterfall. Each of these phases represents a distinct stage, and each stage generally finishes before the next one can begin. Waterfall was organized in such a way that projects had to be finished within a certain budget, fixed scope, fixed time, and a good quality, which was almost never the case, and the customer was always unhappy. In fact, even when the project respected the budget, scope, time, and quality, The customer was still unhappy. But why? As Waterfall does not require a huge deal of customer involvement, so by the time we deliver what we thought the customer needed, it's not necessarily what he needs anymore. And because of its linear approach and its rigidness towards changes in the development of the product and the process itself, it makes it almost impossible for new ideas to be included, which clearly impacts the customer satisfaction as well as the quality of the final products. Agile came to solve these issues. With the 4 values and the 12 principles, we create things differently. In Agile, we build products incrementally and iteratively, which helps teams deliver value to their customers faster and with fewer headaches. Instead of betting everything on a big bang launch, an Agile team delivers work in small but consumable increments. We start with a small piece of work and we go through the design, development, testing, and deployment. The feedback from the customer and stakeholders is then collected and fed back into the cycle. With Agile, changes are welcome. The rapid delivery of the value in small increments allow teams to change their products based on customer feedback frequently and with lower costs.
I decided to go with the Agile methodology for simple reason. It gives you flexibility to make those changes on a constant basis. It does not, when you follow the waterfall method, it is difficult to make changes in the documentation because it takes a while to document the whole process and whole journey and then come up with the design and development phase. Whereas when you are implementing it in an agile format, you can constantly make changes in the document. Earlier in those days, we just use simple pen and paper to document your journey or use MS Word. There are so many tools in the market that you can use to document your implementation. If you are a designer, service provider, business owner, solopreneur, or someone who is just starting out, you can use Figma JAM to document the entire workflow, prototype, and the architecture. Figma JAM on its own gives you so many templates where you can brainstorm, collaborate with your team, and come up with a workflow. So let me just quickly show you how you can effectively design from those templates that Figma JAM offers. And there are various templates that you can find over there, maybe to brainstorm, to collaborate with your team, or to create those workflow designs. Or maybe to create UML ERD diagrams. You want to plan something and there are so many templates for planning. There are so many templates for meetings if you want to meet with your team and you want to add their comments over there. As a developer, you can use the developer templates, which also gives you a good exposure on how to go about the prototype. Let me also quickly show you the recent ideation of building this app, where we have created the workflow, the prototype, and the architecture. upcoming videos, I will also cover in detail how to implement or how to use the tool effectively in order to design and create those visually appealing designs in Figma Design. Also how to use Figma JAM to make it more effective on the documentation process, and also check the community on Figma, which is very extensive and helps you and extends any help that is required. Hope you liked the video. If you do like it, hit the like button. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for more of such exciting updates. And in case you are on the same journey of building an app, do share your success and failures and learning so that everybody around us who is also on the same journey can learn from our experiences. Until the next updates next week, keep building and dream big.